Happy Hump Day, everybody. I hope you've had a good week so far, and I hope you're ready for today because this is going to be a hot take. Shogun, Episode 8. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk about it in just a minute.
Previously on the Nerdy Ronin Network.
Happy Hump Day, everybody. It is Wednesday, the middle of the week, the best point of the week because it's right in the middle. And we are here. We're going to talk about Episode 8 of Shogun. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. New subscribers, hello. Old subscribers, hello. We love you all. Thanks for being here. In the description down below are all our links, things we use every day or that we approve of. There's some coupon codes down there to save you some money. Check it out. Don't let another moment go by after you watch this video. And check out all the cool stuff down there. All right. I'm going to tell you the truth. And you may not want to hear this. It's obvious that for the most part, people are loving Shogun, the miniseries. It has taken 8 episodes for me to figure this out and to understand what's happening here. But it needs to be said because you're being conned. All right? So hear me out. You don't have to agree with me. You know, you have your own opinion. If you love the show, that's great. But I want to explain something to everybody. Okay? This is the Hollyweird con right here. It's happening a lot. Two things are happening at the same time. First things first, we are so used to now getting horrible entertainment with messaging or crappy storytelling or horrible, just terrible stuff that anytime something mediocre comes down the pipe, we're like, oh, this is so amazing. So that's part one. All right. We're so used to garbage. And this is camouflaged well, I must say. But the bigger issue is this is a new generation. When you're talking about the original miniseries came out in 1980, the book came out in the late 70s. You're going over 40 years of people not, like, the miniseries is not on streaming. I know because I reviewed it and I watched it so I could review it, and you can't watch it anywhere on streaming. It's been protected well. I personally went to the library and checked it out and watched it on DVD. That's how I did it. Obviously, you could buy digital if you wanted to watch this, but people have not seen the original for the most part. And for the most part, most people have not read the book. So you're not familiar with the source material, which is fine. It's old. But Hollyweird, being Hollyweird, does what they always do. And somebody says, it'd be nice if we reimagined this. And in this instance, you're discussing a property that was beloved over 40 years ago. But most people now aren't aware of it or haven't seen it or haven't read it. Excuse me. So they don't know what the source material or how it goes. They don't know what happened in the original or in the book. So in this instance with Shogun, the new miniseries that they talked about how much love they had for the original and how they were going to do it such justice and it was going to be fantastic. And they're going to change it to where it's really, you're not looking at it from the perspective of Blackthorn, who is the main character for the original. It's going to be a little different. And the first couple episodes, they pretty much stayed on point with, in general, what happened in the original and the book. And then it started turning. Now, it looks beautiful if you're talking about the set design, if you're talking about the sets, if you're talking about the outfits and the actors, a couple of the actors they hired. Uh, Toranaga is fantastically done, or as well as it can be with the material they've got to go on. And Blackthorn is done quite well as well. Mariko is no secret. She's awful in this. But either way, they got some good actors. They spent a lot of money on the costumes and the sets, the decoration, the wrapping, if you will, on the present that should be Shogun. But after the third episode, it was quite obvious that they weren't going to go the path the original did. And things are changed. Not just things, but whole characters, backstories, the reason they're doing what they're doing, completely altered. Not a little bit. I mean, rewritten history. Rewritten as a character, as their motivation, and what they're doing in the story. Making some people really important to the story when they had literally nothing to do or were a tiny character in the book. So now here we have episode 8. And this was the most boring episode ever. There's 2 episodes left. We have yet to see a battle of any consequence. We have yet to see what's going. It's not a cohesive story. It's just a group of pictures put together in somewhat of a line and moments. And I know the next episode, episode 9, based on the synopsis of that Hulu has given us, or FX has given us, whoever did the synopsis, that there's going to be a big battle. That's fine. It should have happened way before now. And then they're going to end it by talking. I guarantee this is obviously I haven't seen it, the last 2 episodes. And then I guarantee you it's going to be how brilliant Toranaga was. And how he had this master plan, etc., etc. The problem is the people that rewrote this for a modern audience can't write. They are not better than the original author or the original miniseries, which did its best to stick with the original property because they respected it. The ego in Hollywood now is that they're better than the talented people, and that's what makes them talented. And Hollywood just jumps right on that bandwagon. I don't understand how anybody at FX read this script and was like, yeah, makes sense. It doesn't. In this episode, Toranaga gets a cough and decides he's going to give in. He's going to quit. He's going to sacrifice himself and everybody following him. That's it. And then like his closest advisor is like, well, I can't do this with you. I'm not going to give up. I'd rather kill myself. Commit seppuku. And does. Right in front of Toranaga and everybody else. Fine. Because I've read the original property, I know where all this is going. But the way this is laid out and written, it makes no sense. It's a con. And people are falling for it. They love this show. But they have nothing to base that on other than just the show. So it's camouflaged mediocrity. If you put enough dressing on something, it looks so beautiful, but the meat of the subject is rotten. This is no different than after season 6 of Game of Thrones, when the books ran out and the writers had to go their own way. They didn't have the source material anymore. And they made 2 of the worst seasons that I've ever seen. It was awful. This is the same thing. The people writing this either don't have the skill or the talent, but they think they do, and that makes them important. This show is garbage, my friends. It's one big entertainment con, and everybody's jumping on that bandwagon. It's got over 9 out of 10 on Internet Movie Database overall. And when you're so used to getting garbage, a little bit of mediocrity seems like amazing material. But it's not. This has not made a lick of sense since episode 3. You can't change everything and then say, look, we'll just call it a reimagining. Do your own original property then, why don't you? We've discussed this. I'm not going back over it. This show is garbage. If you're falling for this, it's just a consumerism thing. Consume big thing. And it is a bit better than the other stuff that we've hated lately, so you presume it's good. It's not. It's not cohesive. It's not a good, it just is not put together well. So who knows? We'll see. We'll see how it ends. But I don't know how it got made. This is not Shogun. Not by a long shot. And Shogun, the original book, it wasn't perfect. It had its problems. It was difficult to get through. But it was a great journey from beginning to end. This has been a slog to get through, and it is so boring and just so mediocre. I mean, it's hard to stay awake during this show. It's sad. But do me a favor. If you love this show, if you think it's fantastic, go to your local library, rent the DVDs of Shogun, the original miniseries, and watch it. You tell me which you think is better, or is better written, that makes a cohesive story. All right, I gotta go. Got things to do. We'll be back on Friday talking about possibly a classic. Who knows? We'll find out then. All right, you guys, I gotta go. Thanks for being here. Hey, I hate to be this negative about this show, but this episode just cinched it for me. This is so poorly done. It's just awful. Michael the microphone, Bob, squeaky chair, wherever he's at this moment on his vacation. And this big fat nerd. We'll see you on Friday.